I think it's good in one way, but there are so many pro wrestling schools that I hope that this does not, put any of them into a position where they're going to have trouble making a living.
Here's some more WWE news that broke. Bill, this may have been, you may know about this earlier. It was either last night or this morning. The WWE has launched a new indie wrestling development program called WWE ID, which is WWE Independent Development. It's an effort to identify, support, and develop independent wrestling schools and talent. Booker T's Reality of Wrestling, Cody Rhodes' Nightmare Factory, and Seth Rollins' Black and Brave Academy are some of the first to receive official WWE ID designation.
Rikishi's school as well.
So, Bill, is this good? Is this bad?
Well, it depends who you are. If you're an indie wrestling school, if you're a wrestling school like the Monster Factory, and you're not approved by them, it's like going to a school and getting this degree that you went to this important school, or you're going to go to a school that's not really recognized as the most important. It's not just about going to the schools, but it's also going to be where they're going to be following certain talents around as they develop in the indie wrestling scene. So I think it's good in one way, but there are so many pro wrestling schools that I hope that this does not, put any of them into a position where they're going to have trouble making a living.
You think you know all the wrestling stories? There's more you haven't heard yet. Join us on Backstage Pass.
Teddy, just before I get to you, Bill, let me ask you, then when it came to the WWE and they had their performance center, at that time, that was kind of where you had to end up as well. Is that a little bit different just because it wasn't considering going into the indie area, really? It was just come to our place and we're not coming to you?
Right. But now they're going to be looking at the indies. And they're going to start people, I think, at the Performance Center or one of these approved schools. Once they see a rookie that they're interested in, that they think is going to be future talent.
Teddy, what are your thoughts? I think it's kind of good, really, for the business, because I think it narrows out the bad schools that are out there, which, I can see your concern, Bill, but it does kind of get rid of those bad schools. And then you get to go to a legitimate school where you can learn real professional wrestling from the pros. I think that's maybe a good thing, don't you?
Yeah, exactly. I think it is. And like you already named those 4 schools, those schools are already been up and running. Yeah. And I think that they've produced a lot of great talent out of there. I know the Monster Factory there, Cody Rhodes and those guys, they produced a lot of guys that went to AEW. Seth Rollins has had some great guys coming out of there. So these are the 4 schools that they will model from. Yeah,
but the Monster Factory is not an approved school at this point. That's what I was saying.
I do wonder, what are the qualifications? What is WWE looking for? Because that would be something. If I'm not one of the approved schools through WWE, I'd like to know what is it that you're looking for so I can make sure my school meets those qualifications, and then I can become a part of the WWE Independent, drive, whatever they call that thing.
You have great wrestlers like Ricky Morton and Robert Gibson who have their own schools. George South is like a school factory. So, I'd like to know more about it as well.
It'd be good to talk to one of those guys, actually, Bill, to, get their opinions on this, because it would be interesting to see somebody, like Morton telling somebody like, the viewers now, his thoughts on, about the whole initiative with WWE, because it could be that he might see it as a positive, and maybe, like you say, it could be a negative and could hurt his school.
Well, he's a WWE Hall of Famer, so I assume they'll look at his school, he and Robert Gibson, to see if they can bring, this approval to their school as well. That's what I would think. They're not looking to hurt anybody.
No, I don't think. I think they're really trying to help the indie wrestler and develop, because there's so much talent out there. Teddy, you and I, we go to a lot of shows. We see a lot of the independent talent on these shows, and there are some truly great performers out there that just never see the light of day because they don't know where to go. And a lot of times they'll get a trainer saying, "I can take you to the top. You just stick with me and do this and do that." And it ends up being the worst thing that they've ever done before. Teddy, and you and I have talked about this in the past. It's you got to be careful. So having a qualified school that's recognized by WWE, I do believe could be a positive for the business.
Yeah, so that's some credibility right there, man.
Yeah,
yeah, it's like NXT.
Yeah, absolutely correct.